you join us at Silverstone, home of the British Grand Prix and British motorsport as a whole. It's one of the fastest racetracks in the world and a firm favourite with many F1 drivers past and present. And, quite excitingly, we're here to race. However, we're not going to be getting anywhere near any Formula One cars today, which with my level of racing ability is probably a very good thing. No, the car in which we're going to be spanking round Stowe, belting round Beckett and hooning down Hanger is this, the Skoda Kodiaq vRS. Now, Silverstone isn't exactly the natural habitat of your average 7-seat family SUV, but the Kodiaq vRS isn't your average SUV. This is the biggest of Skoda's VRS cars, the sportiest, most exciting examples of Skoda's various models, and to reflect that, this car has a clever adaptive suspension, four-wheel drive traction, an F1-style flappy paddle gearbox and a 2-litre bi-turbo diesel engine with an impressive 240 horsepower. So, if you've got 7 people that you want to get somewhere in a hurry, this thing is what you want. But the question is the Kodiaq a proper VRS? Skoda makes a lot of the fact that this car currently holds the Nürburgring lap record for 7-seat SUVs. But honestly, what does that actually mean? How many other 7-seat SUVs have actually bothered trying? That's a bit like boasting that you're the biggest chatterbox in the monastery. So we've come to Silverstone to check out the car's performance credentials for ourselves, and to do that, we're going to set a lap time, and it's time for us to get out there. Now, Silverstone is renowned for being very fast and very difficult, and this was the first time I'd ever driven it, let alone set any sort of time. A couple of warm-up laps with an instructor gave me at least a vague idea of where the various braking points and turning points were, but for the time lapse, I was on my own. Not including my in-lap or out-lap, my track time allowed me just 5 flying laps in which to string together a half-decent time. And with no timing gear visible in the car, I had no idea whether I was getting faster or slower as the laps went by. What I did know, however, was that on a track like Silverstone, at the speeds we were doing, the Kodiaq felt big and heavy and unwieldy, as you'd expect. But that doesn't mean that this isn't a proper VRS car. A proper VRS needs to do all that stuff that you want your regular Skoda to do: comfort, practicality, quality, equipment, value for money, all that stuff, but add a bit more dynamic sparkle on top, just like the old Fabia VRS did and like the Octavia VRS does. And the Kodiaq does do that. Yes, the engine isn't completely bonkers, but it does have a lot of hustle, and the handling isn't razor sharp as you'd expect from a high-riding SUV, but it is very nimble, considering plenty agile enough to let you have some fun. So from that point of view, we would say that the Kodiaq very much is worthy of the VRS badge. And what about that lap time? Well, it's just come in and it is 2:44.8. Is that any good? I've no idea. But it doesn't actually matter whether it's any good or not, because we're going to be using it for another purpose entirely. You see, when you've got a lap time, what do you do with it? You take it to Lapland. Get it? And lo and behold, we've got the Kodiaq with us as well. We're actually in the Swedish part of the Lapland region, and we're on our way to a place called Arjeplog, right up in the north of the country, not far away from the beginning of the Arctic Circle. So, why have we come to Sweden? Well, because unlike a lot of other SUVs and a lot of other versions of the Kodiaq, to be fair, the VRS is a four-wheel drive car, and we want to see how well that bit works. No, it doesn't need to be some hardcore off-roader that can go anywhere no matter what, but it does need to provide you with some useful extra traction in slippery conditions, and around here, those are not in short supply. Under normal conditions, only the front wheels are powered, but once slippage is detected, up to 85% of the torque can be sent to an individual wheel. It all happens in milliseconds as well, and the power is juggled around really smoothly and pretty much imperceptibly. Coupled with the studded snow tyres we've got on that are pretty much a must-have in this part of the world, the car feels safe, secure and steady, even on roads that, as you can see, are absolutely covered in snow. And whether you've got your family on board, that is exactly what you want. But as well as being a four-wheel drive car, this Kodiaq is still a VRS. So in conditions like these, how does it perform from a pace and excitement point of view? Well, that is why we've come to Arjeplog. Arjeplog is home to just 2,000 people and to Lake Udjawa, a 3,000-acre frozen lake that's very popular with car companies wanting to do cold weather testing and development on their forthcoming cars. It's also very popular with car fans because every year Lake Udjawa is transformed into a series of ice driving tracks that mirror the biggest and best racetracks from around the world. And that, just behind me, is an exact one-to-one scale replica of Silverstone carved into the snow. The question is, how close can we get to the lap time that we achieved on the real thing? Now, while I've done plenty of snow driving in the past, I'm usually trying to go as slowly as possible so as not to crash and die like any normal person. And the prospect of racing on the stuff, frankly, terrifies me. So what sort of time should we be aiming for? Well, having had a bit of a practice this morning, you're sideways on pretty much every corner. It's really difficult to get the power down on the straight. And while on the real Silverstone, you've got a vague idea of where your braking points and your turning points are, here, everything just looks the same, so you've got no idea. So we're not going to get anywhere close. If I get anywhere within double of our real Silverstone time, I will be happy. So by my reckoning, that makes our target time 5:29.6. Let's see how we get on. So this is Eric, my instructor. He's going to be telling me what to do, so hopefully I won't make too much of a hash of it.
Well, you already know what to do, but maybe I will try to help you gain some seconds or milliseconds.
I think I need more than seconds. With Eric on hand to guide me, telling me where to brake, how hard to brake, and when to get hard on the gas, I at least had a fighting chance of getting round the lap in one piece. However, the studded tyres and four-wheel drive actually gave us a surprising amount of purchase on the ice, so although we were slipping and sliding around, at least we were slipping and sliding in kind of the right direction. And as we got used to constantly going sideways and we actually started using our drifts to get round the bends quicker rather than trying to correct them, our lap times started to tumble. Gonna get under 4:35.
Yeah. 31, 32.
There you go.
31.
Happy with that?
Yeah, ready.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you very much
my
indeed.
Pleasure,
Cheers.
my pleasure.
So, turns out I'm no Lewis Hamilton, which, let's face it, isn't a surprise to anybody, least of all me. Still, we did manage to get well within our target time, which I'm pretty pleased with, but it has to be said that that's all down to the car and nothing to do with me. What's more important though is that the car is also a lot of fun, and that is exactly what a VRS needs to be. And when you chuck in its quality, its practicality and all that other stuff, it looks like a really appealing package.